Gathered here, we have 5 demands and 5 fantastic speakers to address each one. First, we demand a transition to renewable energy. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and turning our economy 100% green by 2030 will ensure responsibility for our Earth, as well as creating millions of clean, ethical jobs. Second, we demand respect of America's indigenous lands and sovereignties. It is imperative, not only to our environment, but to our nation's morality, that we respect indigenous identities and dignity. It is imperative, not only to our environment, but to our morality, to make sure that the destruction of sacred land never happens again in this nation. Third, we demand environmental justice. We need a socio-economic transition that aids those most affected by our predecessors' ecological irresponsibility. We already have to aid those suffering from the adversity of climate crisis. For example, in Miami, where waters are rising even as we speak, and we will habilitate sustainable development to ensure their livelihoods remain intact. Fourth, we demand the protection and restoration of global biodiversity. Species are dying off at a rate never before seen in human history, and it is massively destabilizing the biological foundations that the living part of our planet stands on. We aim to ensure the protection and restoration of half of all the world's land and oceans, and to stop unfettered deforestation by 2030. And last, but most definitely not least, we demand to implement sustainable agriculture practices the world over. It is imperative that we invest in our farmers to give them the means of sustainable productivity and end the tyranny of destruction, highly industrialized agricultural practices. With this in mind, please turn your attention to our speakers tonight. Each one of these exceptional individuals will inform you further about these issues and address how to resolve them. Together, we will show that we are no longer willing to let the forces of greed and waste rob us of our future. Let us stand together and have our voices heard as one! Without further ado, here's Jackie Chiacolas, an organizer with the hugely influential 350 Nevada. Please give her a hand.
Thank you so much for coming out. What I want to do is just lead us. I'm going to lead us in a quick chant before we get to our first speaker. So, when the planet we love is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When the air we breathe is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When the water we drink is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When the earth we need is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. What do? Stand up, fight back. What do? Stand up, fight back. Woo! All right, thank you guys so much. So I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Seda. She's going to be talking about the Green New Deal.
So like Jackie said, we're going to introduce Miss Seda Galvin. She's passionate about the outdoors, a rock climber, hiker, wildlife lover, a true environmentalist at heart. She works for Get Outside Nevada, a local nonprofit organization that connects people to their outdoor spaces. Knowing the importance of legislation, Seda joined the Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign, where she is now an activist and organizer fighting the root causes of climate change. Without further ado, Seda Galvin!
Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you for coming out and striking with the youth. My name is Seda. As Dexter mentioned, I am a volunteer with the Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign. As many of you know, Nevada recently wrapped up the 2019 legislative session, where the Nevada legislature passed a significant clean energy bill. One of the highlights of the session was the bipartisan, unanimous passage of the Senate Bill 358, which increased the Renewable Portfolio Standard, the RPS, to 50% renewable energy by 2030, with the end goal of reaching 100% renewable energy by 2050. This means that by 2030, at least 50% of the energy in the state of Nevada will have to come from renewable resources, like wind, solar, and geothermal energy. Nevada is starting to make its mark as clean energy leader, but we need to do more. We need a Green New Deal. The Green New Deal it's going to speed up the transition to clean energy, clean air, clean water, all while investing in workers and communities. Our leaders in Congress must lead to acknowledge climate change and act now. It is time to put an end to the status quo economic policies that pad the pockets of CEOs while exposing communities of color, immigrants, and working class families to toxic pollutants, climate disasters, low wages, and unsafe working conditions. It is time to invest in the projects that create good union jobs, support healthy communities, and reduce racial inequality, inequity, and tackle climate change. So we need a Green New Deal now. So here's our chant. No more coal, no more oil, keep the carbon in the soil. Come with me. No more coal, no more oil, keep the carbon in the soil. One more time. One more coal, no more oil, keep the carbon in the soil. One more time. No more coal, no more oil, keep the carbon in the soil. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Seda. Our next speaker is Patrick Donnelly. He's the Nevada State Director with the Center for Biological Diversity. He was a restoration ecologist for 8 years before moving into advocacy work for the past decade. He focuses on the protection of Nevada's endangered species, the stewardship of our wonderful public lands, and the conservation of Nevada's water resources by engaging science, politics, and the media. His favorite Nevada rare species is the white river springfish, and favorite mammal is the desert bighorn sheep. Please give a hand to Patrick!
Thank you, Dexter, and I just want to say how inspired I am to be here today, and with all these young people with the Sunrise Vegas movement. It's really incredible what they've been able to do and how they're raising awareness on this issue. Today we strike because the climate crisis is already here, and this generation and future generations depend on us taking bold, immediate action and structural reform to save life on Earth as we know it. One of the effects of the climate crisis is a closely related human-caused extinction crisis. A recent UN report found that up to 1 million species are at risk of extinction immediately. Biodiversity is the foundation of life on Earth. Plant species and wildlife, microorganisms, these are what give us our clean air and our clean water and our food. Our fate is intertwined with that of these species. And Nevada is one of the most incredible places in the country for biodiversity. We have dozens of species which occur nowhere else on Earth but Nevada. And we're blessed with 2 keystone species, the greater sage grouse in northern Nevada and the Mojave Desert here in southern Nevada, the desert tortoise. And these species are at risk because of climate change. Increased temperatures and changed precipitation, the very ecosystems that these species rely on are at risk of dying out. One of the demands of today's demonstration is that we protect 50% of the world's land and oceans by 2030. The planet's natural systems need that level of preservation in order to stop the extinction crisis and provide resiliency to climate change. But here in Nevada, we have only protected 9% of our lands in this state. That leaves 91% of our state open to exploitation, commercial development, mining, oil drilling, housing subdivisions, energy production, water speculation, and any one of a number of other drivers of the extinction crisis. Just now, in fact, Clark County is pursuing a reckless new public lands bill which would allow Las Vegas sprawl to literally double in size. The city would spill outside the Las Vegas Valley and into the wild desert habitat surrounding us. And in northern Nevada, the gold mining industry is running roughshod over people and natural communities, literally poisoning our water in perpetuity. Our state's Division of Environmental Protection allows gold mines to poison our water forever. They could be called the Division of Enabling Polluters. If we hope to stop the extinction crisis and combat climate change, we need to protect 41% more of our state. That's 28 million acres. And we need to do it in the next 11 years. At the Climate Strike today, we demand that our elected leaders take the extinction crisis seriously and move rapidly to protect 28 million acres of land across Nevada at a landscape scale. We demand that our congressional delegation does not allow Las Vegas to sprawl indefinitely into the desert. And we need to save what we have. We need our elected leaders to fight to save the Endangered Species Act, which is the most successful conservation law in the world. And we need to protect more at-risk species under the act. The extinction crisis and the climate crisis are closely linked. We need to stop unsustainable growth and destructive development that is fueling the climate crisis to save biodiversity, to save our own lives on Earth. Thank you.
All right, we're going to do a quick chant. So the chant goes, climate change is not a lie. Do not let our planet die. Okay, so I'm gonna start it first and then repeat back. Climate change is not a lie. Climate change is not a lie. Do not let our planet die. Do not let our planet die. Climate change is not a lie. Climate change is not a lie. Do not let our planet die. Do not let our planet die. All right, one more louder. Let's let the world leaders in the UN in 3 days, let them hear it. Climate change is not a lie. Do not let our planet die. Climate change is not a lie. Do not let our planet die.
Thank you so much. All right, our next speaker is Principal Man Ian Zabarte. He's a descendant of Chief Cowich, chief of all the Central Great Basin Western Shoshone. Since he was 18, he worked on nuclear issues to protect his people and land. Working collaboratively, he created the Nuclear Risk Management for Native Communities and the Native Community Action Council, a party with standing in the Atomic Safety Licensing Board panel of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. He is also a board member of the Puhaba Traditional Native American Healing Center and a former board member of Citizen Alert and a former board member of the Nevada Desert Experience. Please welcome Ian.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Greetings from the western bands of the Shoshone Nation of Indians. Let's acknowledge the Southern Paiutes, whose land we stand here today. I am Principal Man of the Western Bands of the Shoshone Nation, and I'm descended from Chief Cowich. Our people have lived in the Great Basin for 10,000 years before the Common Era. We have the oldest life here in the world in the Great Basin. We have the 1,000-year-old white pine tree. We have the 6,800-year-old bristlecone pine. We have the 11,700-year-old creosote, king clone, all over the Mojave here. And we have the up to 80,000-year-old pando, which is a diploid plant, all connected underground, 25 square miles. That's the life that we have here. The desert is the bottom of an ancient ocean. The desert is fed, the desert life is fed underground through rivers, flowing millions of years. Water is life. Water heals. Water is the lifeblood of Mother Earth, and we have only one water. That is why water is so precious in the desert. I am a water protector of Puebla and the Great Basin. The people in the land are our identity since time immemorial. You can hear the story of the land and water if you use your vision. Close your eyes and open your minds. Think big. That is visioning. And ask me what you need to know for sure, and I will tell you the truth. That's the way of my elders for thousands of years. The elders are here because I am here standing on their shoulders, and I'm here to support you and all of us together as we move forward. You should know that we're going to be here as long as it takes. Stand with us. Fight along with us. The most committed wins, and your being here proves that. Nuclear is not a solution. Every step in the nuclear chain releases CO2 except the actual fissioning. Massive open pit and underground uranium mines here in our beautiful deserts to make nuclear fuel, building reactors, and the nuclear waste dumps. Every step releases CO2. Nuclear is no solution. Nuclear brought us to the brink of war, wasting our environment and resources for obscene profits. All resources for war and bombs that we must never use must now be used for peace if we are to be successful, and we can together. Nuclear is the most dangerous way of boiling water, and we are organizing to stop and change the direction, and we need to do that without spending billions to prop up a dying industry. The Western bands of the Shoshone Nation will never consent to the proposed Yucca Mountain high-level nuclear waste repository. Children are the most important people to see and hear, so I will listen. I will speak. I want to thank you all for listening and taking action today. Today, Greta was in New York, I understand, and today we stand with all the strikers globally. Thank you. Peace. I have one chant. We'll do it 3 times, and it goes, nuclear is no solution. Nevada is not a wasteland. Nuclear is not a solution. Nevada is not a wasteland. Nuclear is no solution. Nevada is not a wasteland. Nuclear is no solution. Nevada is not a wasteland.
All right, guys, we got one more chant before our next speaker. Thank you so much for that. That was extremely important. That message needs to be heard. I'm gonna use this one instead. For the ones in the back, thank you guys for being here. Woo! So this chant goes like this. Honor the treaties, give back their land. Honor the treaties, give back their land. For climate justice, we take a stand. For climate justice, we take a stand. Honor their treaties, give back their land. For climate justice, we take a stand. Honor their treaties, give back their land. For climate justice, we take a stand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ian. Our next speaker is Alexa Espero. She is a 21-year-old college student. Oh, she's popular. Yeah, let's give her a hand, everyone. Alexa is a 21-year-old college student who has been involved in environmental movements since 2016. She started as a volunteer at Chispa, Nevada because she wanted to make a change for her community and wanted to educate not just herself, but the people around her. Please give it up for Alexa.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexa Espero and I am a youth organizer with Chispa, Nevada, a program of the League of Conservation Voters that builds the power of Latino communities to have a voice in the fight against climate change. I'm also a college student, a daughter of immigrants, a Latina, a Nevadan. I'm here today because I believe youth leaders need to have our voices heard to bring about the action we need to combat the climate crisis. I'm also here because I've seen how my community, my generation, and even the next generation have been affected by the climate crisis. For Chispa, Nevada, I organize youth. I work with high schools and colleges to find people who want to take action to support clean air, clean energy, and clean transportation. Through our Clean Buses for Healthy Niños campaign, I've been organizing Latino youth and their families to push state officials to invest in zero-emission electric buses. I work directly with many students across southern Nevada who are riding in dirty diesel school buses. They're not only polluting the air we breathe, but are also harming the health of our youth. We see firsthand how young people, especially vulnerable children, are impacted by fossil fuel pollution in Nevada, how they suffer from asthma that keeps them from enjoying their life to the fullest. So many of our students have to miss school because they're struggling to breathe. Asthma is now the #1 cause of school absences. It also takes a huge toll on our families, economically, emotionally, and to our health. And it's all because kids ride in dirty diesel school buses as they go to school. It's not right that children are being endangered this way. I've seen my cousins, my friends, and dozens of community members that suffer through this. This is why we fight for a better future, for a transition away from the dirty air contaminating our lungs and our environment. It's not just children who are affected. Latino communities are disproportionately impacted by air pollution, more often living near sources by pollution and breathing dirty air. We are more likely to suffer from illnesses caused by our environment. Latino children are twice as likely to die from asthma attacks as their white peers. We're the first and the worst hit when it comes to climate change, from drought to wildfires to intense heat to air pollution. We live these climate consequences and we suffer them daily. If we want this to change, we have to raise our voice and speak up. As communities and leaders of color across the country, we will continue to organize and fight to protect the rights to clean air, clean transportation, and a safe and healthy climate for ourselves and for our families. Yeah! for is simple: climate action, climate justice, for our leaders to put affected communities at the forefront of their plans, because we can't afford to wait. Our communities need action now. Our futures are on the line and we demand better. Cheeseman, Nevada is proud to be a part of the 2019 Global Climate Strike, and we are proud to see so many of our youth leaders and volunteers step up. We know that the future of our youth is worth fighting for, and we won't stop. Thank you. Now, before I leave, please chant with me. I'll tell y'all how it goes. So basically, I'll ask, what do we want? Y'all will say climate justice, and I'll ask, when do we want it? Now. So we'll say it 3 times. What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you everyone for showing up.
All right, thank you so much, Alexa. All right, next up, we have Esli Amaya. She is a co-organizer of Las Vegas Climate Save, and she has worked with other organizations on grassroots projects to aim to protect people, animals, and land. As a new mother and animal rights advocate, promoting the connection of animal agriculture and climate change has never been more important for her to step up for the future of not only her child, but others. Please welcome Esli.
How you guys doing? My name's Esli Amaya. I'm here with Climate Save Las Vegas. I want to thank Sunrise Movement and also our youth organizers for having me speak for them. Our group is committed to saving the climate by advocating policy as well as lifestyle change, and also mobilizing our youth and parents to be active and stay involved. I want to reflect on the impact animal agriculture has on our environment. We don't always have a say in major choices that impact the climate, but we do have a choice in what we consume, which also affects the climate state. Okay. So in regards to that, here are a few facts to think about. A most recent and disturbing event relating to climate change are the fires caused in the Amazon rainforest. That is in order for cattle to graze. This practice feeds agribusiness pockets and consumers' global demand for meat products. This year alone, there have been over 80,000 wildfires that were caused to the land, which produces 20% of oxygen in our planet's atmosphere. This is also home to indigenous people. Deforestation is killing off several species of wild animals to make room for vulnerable farm animals to also be killed. This leaves behind scarce resources and polluted land. This is a harsh reality that we are contributing to when there is mass production to meet demands. Destroying land to feed livestock is just one factor of animal agriculture and its system. The process of raising these animals for meat, eggs, and dairy generates almost 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This pollutes land, air, and water. The ocean is where it hits hard. For more than 200 years, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased drastically, and during this time, pH levels of the surface of ocean waters have fallen by 0.1. This is approximately a 30% increase in acidity. This causes our coral reefs and calcified organisms such as oysters, clams, and sea urchins to form improperly or deteriorate. The most distressing factor we contribute to is water pollution. Our oceans are filled to the brim with not just trash, but also farm waste. This is killing over 1 million of our aquatic creatures per year. We may not have made the connection right away, but it's obvious that animal agriculture is extinguishing underwater species and slowly annihilating our oceans. And those are just some examples. This is a lot of information to go over, but I just like to remind you all and to always consider these problems in your journey. Disrupting the ecosystem, paying into corporate greed, taking human rights away, and exploiting billions of animals has been the outcome of animal agriculture. So just ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it necessary? We can't pick and choose what we want to combat in climate change because it may inconvenience us. We should be fighting for justice in every cause. Addressing animal agriculture is commonly disregarded by officials, but we must demand attention and action to the matter. We must progress, look into veganism, give up destructive industries, and replace this with sustainable ones. Our personal responsibility starts with acknowledging what we support and also what we vote with our dollar. If we can put our egos to the side and give up plastic, then we can do the same with animal products. We're all in this together. Thank you. And I think I have a chance. You want to take this one over? Not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for environmental crimes.
Not another nickel! Not another dime! No more money for environmental crimes! Not another nickel! Not another dime! No more money for environmental crimes!
Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for environmental crimes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, last but certainly not least, next up is Daniella Trackman. She's a hub coordinator of the Sunrise Movement here in Las Vegas. She's 13 years old and extremely passionate about this cause. Please give her a hand.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniella Trackman. I'm one of the hub coordinators for Sunrise Vegas, and I'm 13 years old. It's great to see all of you here, and I'm happy to have such a big turnout. The support means a lot, and it's what we here at the Sunrise Movement thrive on. Sunrise Vegas is committed to the spread of awareness to the phenomenon of global climate change and how we are all impacted by the threat it poses. We work with passionate individuals, both local and national, to help us as we face a problem that affects us as all citizens of the world. At this moment, we are facing so many issues that put our life and world in risk because of the climate crisis. Global temperatures are meeting new highs and ocean levels are rising. We are putting millions of lives in danger. These high temperatures and the ensuing ecological fallout poses a threat to millions of flora and fauna that are vital to maintaining natural ecosystems and food chains that our planet depends on. And while we see these animals threatened from factors such as habit loss, the natural wonders are those at risk of being extinguished and existing only in stories in our future if we don't do something now. I don't understand why after hundreds of studies conducted around the world by recognized scientists, the climate crisis is still seen as an opinion, and there are people putting their own economical and political interests before their own children's futures. We need to call out these individuals who are not standing up for the people they represent and let them know that we will elect individuals with our future in mind. A UN report told us that we have 11 years to combat this issue. Let me repeat that, 11 years. I won't even be 25. The people controlling this issue right now don't even have to worry about the 11 years because they're on the older side of the spectrum. That's why we have to turn the conversation over to the youth. Now, as I said earlier, the Sunrise Movement is an organization that is fueled by passionate individuals. Any one of you gathered here with us today are capable of driving monumental and impactful change not only throughout our Las Vegas community, but throughout the world. Thank you all for coming out, and please continue this effort we've discussed today for the sake of our planet's current denizens, those who will come in the future, and Earth itself.
Thank you, Daniela, so much for that. You're such an inspiration. All these climate strikes are awesome that you've been a part of, so thank you. We're gonna learn another song. So I'm gonna say the first line and then repeat back and then do that 2 times and then we'll all sing it together. So, we are standing for our future.
We are standing for our future.
We are healing what is wrong.
We are healing what is wrong.
We are standing for our future.
We are standing for our future.
And together we are strong.
And together we are strong.
So we'll do that one more time. We are standing for our future.
We are standing for our future.
We are healing what is wrong.
We are healing what is wrong.
We are standing for our future.
We are standing for our future.
And together we are strong.
And together we are strong.
Okay, we'll sing it all together 3 times. We are standing for our future. We are healing what is wrong. We are standing for our future. And together we are strong. We are standing for our future. We are healing what is wrong. We are standing for our future. And together we are strong. We are standing for our future. We are healing what is wrong. We are standing for our future. And together we are strong. Thank you.
Hello again. I don't know what the fuck happened. I would like to begin by thanking everyone in attendance for their willingness to have their voices heard and dedication to addressing this issue. The climate crisis will not be an easy one to fix, but with the support and solidarity that I see tonight, I know that we can and will overcome this insidious threat. As I work towards this event, I once again learned a very important lesson, the results of which I say are exemplified right here and right now. Nobody achieves anything alone. As you have heard from our numerous speakers, there are many, many activists involved in creating an event such as this. I'd like to take the time to recognize one of them who could not be here with us tonight, but she was one of the most instrumental figures in putting this event together, Miss Ainsley Archibald. Please give a hand for her. It is this collaborative effort that is going to bring about changes in the world. I recently had the opportunity to visit our nation's capital. And while there, I met with several legislators and congressional representatives, including Nevada's own Susie Lee. While there, I presented scientific fact and advocated for greater response to climate action by our elected officials. But I regret to inform you that response was lukewarm at best. Yeah. And even with those who responded to my message or showed sympathy for the cause, they're still delaying on taking decisive action and leading the conversation on this climate crisis. And this is a symptom of our modern political climate. It is deplorable that climate change should be a partisan issue, and that all of us here, many of us children, no less, must sacrifice our time and education just to ask for a habitable planet. But this is our reality. And with that in mind, demonstrations like tonight are more important than ever, and we need to show our elected officials that we, the public, those who give them their power, are not going to passively stand by and wait for the rusted cogs of Washington to make change on their own. We must make it clear to our representatives that they need to serve their constituents as promised, and we demand representation. Our incoming electees must address this problem head-on, day one. It falls to us to make our voices heard, and it is with this voice that we can architect a world that will be habitable. No, not habitable, beautiful. Not only for us, but for later generations to come. And this all comes back to collaboration. Like anything constructed, our future must be built on a foundation of collectivity and unity. As a primary organizer of this event, I can personally attest that this all would never have come together without everybody's hard work. And it taught me that I have the ability to make a difference. I learned I can be the change. And you can be the change. Tonight is only the beginning. So I urge everybody here, everyone, be bold, be brave, find your team, and go to work! And together, we will forge a sustainable planet! I'm going to turn the mic over to Jackie, who will close us out with one last song. We'll be taking photos, so stick around.
Alrighty, you guys, so we're gonna close it out with one last song. I'm gonna say the sentence and then repeat back, and we'll do it a couple times. The song is really powerful and is one that's being sung all around the world today by millions of people. So we're gonna strike 'cause our waters are rising. We're gonna strike cause our people are dying.
We're gonna strike cause our people are dying.
We're gonna strike for life, for the things we love.
We're gonna strike for life, for the things we love.
We're gonna strike for you, will you strike for us?
We're gonna strike for you, will you strike for us?
We're gonna strike cause our waters are rising.
We're gonna strike cause our waters are rising.
We're gonna strike cause our people are dying.
We're gonna strike cause our people are dying.
We're gonna strike for life, for the things we love.
We're gonna strike for life, for the things we love.
We're gonna strike for you, will you strike for us?
Hey, we'll strike for you, will you strike for us?
All right, now we're gonna sing it all together 3 times, okay? 1, 2, 3. We're gonna strike cause our waters are rising. We're gonna strike cause our people are dying. We're gonna strike for life, for the things we love. We're gonna strike for you, will you strike for us? We're gonna strike cause our people are dying. We're gonna strike cause our people are dying. We're gonna strike for life, for the things we love. Will you strike for you, will you strike for us? All right.